Hello. So this video is on the very basics of Illustrator tools. So these videos are not going to be regular because, who has the time? However, I am definitely committed. So to begin, I am going to open up a file. So I've opened up Illustrator, and on the right hand panel here, I've got various options. So I tend to start with a 15 by 15-inch box. So once I've written that in, I'm going to press create. So I only use a few tools, and I am going to write them on the site so that you can refer to them. I tend to use all the keyboard shortcuts to access the tool. So when I say a letter, that means that I am pressing that letter on the keyboard and the tool that I want is coming up. So all your tools are in the left-hand bar right here. The most important ones are these. So one, the pencil tool. So this is used to draw a line, and it's the letter N on your keyboard. Secondly, the selection tool and the direct selection tool. So this is V for selection and A for direct selection. So V basically selects the entire thing, and A to select an individual anchor point. Your cut tool, so this will cut your line. So rather than like rubbing out your line, you basically have to cut it and then just delete a section. And then a lot of people use this, which is the curvature tool. So I don't, so I'm in no position to teach it, as I've spent 10 seconds learning how to use it this morning. But what it does is effectively keeps drawing a line. So if you double click that line, it'll stay straight rather than in a curve. And then the only way I can figure out how to stop this is by pressing the selection tool. The add and subtract anchor tools. So these are plus and minus on a keyboard to add and subtract an anchor point. And then there are a few more, like drawing a box and control plus and control minus to zoom in and out. But you'll know that. So a drawn line is called a path, and a path is made up of a series of anchor points. So each anchor point has two control handles, and these control the direction. Now, the more anchor points that you have, the more detail, but too many anchor points are unnecessary and will overload your long arm. So I tend to try work with as few anchor points as possible so that you don't lose the detail in the design. So when an anchor point is selected, you can move it, and when it's selected, that little square is filled in. So you'll see that some of them are just outlines, so they are not selected, so that means that you won't be able to move them unless they are selected. So I'm going to delete all of this. So I'm going to press Control A, so just to select everything, and then delete on my keyboard. Now I'm going to draw a very basic and terrible edge to edge. So I've selected the pencil tool, so using N on my keyboard, and I will draw just something. Yeah. Now, when your mouse slash pencil moves off, your line will have a lot of squares. So these are the anchor points, and yeah, when they're filled in, like I said, that means they're selected. Now, I'm not too happy with the shape, so I'm going to edit it by pressing A, the direct selection tool, and then play about with the handles and adding and subtracting points. Now, this bit, when you're actually drawing, this is the bit will take you hours. So this is just basic to show you. And when I'm done, I'm not too concerned about scale. This is just a test, but you'll see if I select everything using the selection tool, I can see how large this drawing is, and I can change the size. So this little lock, I always think it's a lock, it keeps the ratio. So if I want just to make it simpler, I'm going to change this to 5 stitches an inch. And then for an edge to edge, I'm basically just going to copy and paste. So an edge to edge has the start and stop point on the exact same horizontal axis point. Now you'll all notice that is the basic, like the basics of an edge to edge. And if the start and stop point isn't on the exact same horizontal axis point, then your shape, your line is not going to repeat, and your software is going to say this is not an edge to edge. To repeat, I'm going to select the entire thing by pressing V. I'm going to press Enter on my keyboard. I'm going to move this along 5 inches. Yep, and then 0 vertically. And then I'm going to press Copy. So I've got a second shape. So this is just copying and pasting. I'm going to move the start point of the second shape to the end point of the first shape. And now I'm going to delete the first shape. So that is because I've edited the second. So it's the second shape that is the most up to date. This is basically, this is just how it's done. Basically, copy and paste the shape, delete the first one, and keep going. So I hope this is helpful. I will go into more detail in the next video, which maybe in a month, maybe in 2 months, who knows? But subscribe, and all the patterns will soon be on my website as well. So lots of effort going into pattern design soon. There's just no time. But thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you later.